10,555 on the screen, and the market is going home with plenty of gains, whether you're looking at the Nifty, the Sensex, or the mid-cap index. Gautam, what is it that you would look at adding to the portfolio right now, primarily considering that it's still a volatile environment? For instance, I mean, the entire auto space that has been beaten down quite badly. What would you pick and choose going forward? Where is a stock like Maruti? I mean, we can't get stock specific, but for instance, I mean, a story like Maruti, how would you look at that now?
I mean, honestly, there is no change in the portfolio stance from our side, so we continue to remain where we are in terms of the portfolio. So while some of these stocks have gone beaten down, they were somewhat expensive on valuations. That has corrected a bit. There have been, especially this festive season and with crude prices going through the roof, there has been some growth slowdown too, which is also, coming after a long period of good growth. So these things are all transient and cyclical in nature. They tend to correct themselves, and these are not long cycles, right? So on the CV side, of course, again, this H2 of this year has a high base effect, so hence we are seeing slow H2 YOY. So that also we have to go through. So being long-term investors, not making any major changes, but yeah, watching the scenario very closely. Volatility would be there, so stock-specific volatility can be taken advantage of. So stocks where you like and which correct a lot sharply, that's where you try and add. So essentially that has to be the stance.
Okay, all right, Gautam, thanks very much for joining us and being with us today. Appreciate your views. We will chat again soon. We're counting down to the close. It's just about 2 odd minutes to go. For what it's worth, Anuj, I mean, this is the highest point of the day. The question is, I think you already answered that whether we can extrapolate this for the rest of the week, I mean, that's a difficult call.
That's a difficult call, but I tell you something, don't try, cute trades in this market. The market's message was today, through the day that you should have been looking at dips to buy. The way Kotak is closing and the way Yes is closing. Yes is closing at the highest point, 8.5% higher, Surabhi. And more importantly, Kotak, the way that stock is closing right now, I think just keep an eye on some of these names tomorrow morning, because what will happen is that, if there's institutional buying, which is coming back, Surabhi, in some of these names, in that case, things could be looking different from here on. That's one point. Kotak and Yes Bank and the kind of buying that you've seen in some of these large financials. Also, what I would be, interested in seeing is post 3:30. How does the money market move? The rupee market. The rupee market has also recovered 1% intraday. And the proof of pudding is in the eating. Today's FII number would be very interesting, because right now it's all conjecture. If we have hard cash which has bought today on the decline, I think that would send a very right message, but we'll of course wait for that. In terms of stocks, of course, today was a day where almost everything recovered so much from the low point of the day. I mean, index stocks like Yes Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, IndusInd Bank, SBI, all of them recovering 5 to 10% intraday. Pharma was higher in trade. Then of course you had other names like JSW Steel, Axis Bank, Asian Paints. All these stocks were higher. On the way down, a couple of these oil marketing companies like HPCL and IOC. Now, HDFC Bank was a bit soft, though it recovered towards the end, but that was a bit down, and ICICI Bank as well. So these two stocks sort of put a bit of a lid on the Nifty bank, but otherwise a really strong day. And I think the best gauge of the market's move is really in the advanced decline. And today we had a massive advanced decline in favor of the bulls.
Oh yes, we've had big moves. I mean, you can obviously talk about what kind of boats were lifted up. For instance, there is a Reliance Naval that's up about 13% as well. But if you go beyond, I mean, Adani Enterprises, big move here, 7.5% on this stock. Quite a few of the PSU banks have done well. PNB, UCO Bank, these are stocks on the upside. Bata, Jubilant Foods, these were some of the consumer names that have had a very strong session. There's, the likes of Bombay Dyeing that found buyers, some of the NBFCs, Shriram Transport Finance, M&M Finance will come up for you, LIC Housing Finance. These were also names on the upside. So largely speaking, plenty of stocks that were flying high. There were a couple of course, movers on the way down. Edelweiss would be one of them. Jet Airways and Sun TV were some of the other stocks that were on the losing side today. But it was a day that belonged more to the winners than to the losers. Look at an Info Edge, for instance, as well, EIH. Plenty of names on the upside. And Anuj, as you mentioned, of course, market breadth looking extremely strong on a day like today.
Yes, but what next is important. I think we have defended some crucial levels on the Nifty, Surabhi. 10,482 on a closing basis was an important level that we have defended. This market breadth is important because we close at about 3:1 on advanced decline. And I think today's market has really been healthy because it bounced so much from the low point, and of course the mid caps also outperformed today.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, let's just take a very quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Thanks to our guests as well. We'll come back on the other side and get you excerpts from our exclusive conversation with the Executive Chairman at S4 Capital, Sir Martin Sorrell. Stay tuned for that.